Ladies and gentlemen, will you please welcome the dulcet tones of the one and only Mr. Tommy Tiernan.
Hello there, hello. So, thank you very much. It's very nice to be here. I'm a bit wintered up with a type of a flu thing, but we'll plough on regardless. I know there's a lot of people suffering around the world tonight for what they've said. I have a fair idea what they're going through. Yes. No. No. I don't think being banned from the Late Late Show compares to being fucked in prison in China. But, Anyway, yeah. So sorry, it's very nice to be here in Dublin. Coming up here, you forget the fucking size of Guinnesses. Don't you? I come up on the river on a shopping trolley I sold in Newbridge. We were shooting a TG Car version of Apocalypse on Shin, and up on the river. Tasha asal viaur. Kindle ash doch noch and I've never looked at Guinness's, but it's fucking enormous, you know. And all they do in there all day is invent drink. I reckon it must be like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, you know, because all the Oompa Loompas are gimbaled. We're going to merge black pudding and harp and see what we get out of it. So, drinking is good. It's lovely. 4 or 5 pints in you, and there's a lovely kind of poetry to your movement, isn't there? 4 or 5. Any more than 4 or 5 pints now, you're acting the maggot. You're in fucking harp territory there. You'll be end the night battering your cousin to death with a shovel in a ditch. Take it back! Leads are good. Take it back! You know, but there's I just think, just out the fucking, you know, just the flowing in you of drink and just, way, I'm drunk tonight. Isn't it fucking mighty? You know, a sober person on a nightclub dance floor is a fucking health hazard. Why? Because you've been drinking Fanta since 8:30. And if you don't work off some of the sugar, you don't get a wink of fucking sleep. La da 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 da. A couple of pints. Da 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 da. It's fucking mighty, isn't it? It's like alcohol was the bit God left out when he was making human beings. And if he'd left 4 or 5 pints worth of drink inside us all the time, da 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 da. Great. I do a lot of travelling around ever since I was born. I was born up in Donegal, and I lived there until I was 3, and then I moved from Donegal to Africa, overnight. Yeah. It's like moving from a photograph to its negative. It's fucking scary, isn't it? Da, 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 da. 3 years of age arrived, and I'd never seen a fucking black person before in my life. One day there's the whole fucking place. I'd never, what the fuck? Daddy, all the people are made out of the night time. They're all made out of the night time. Somebody wake them up. Moved from Africa to fucking Athlone. Parents were working through the alphabet. I never did any homework in school. Why the fuck would you? You'd be in school from 9 o'clock in the morning till 4 o'clock in the evening. Then I had a 3-mile walk home with a bag of books that was like a satchel full of cement. I'd arrive home bollocksed into the linoleum-covered kitchen. I was a great room, that. Half carpet, half kitchen. Took the bag. Take this fucking thing away! Fall down on the floor. I'd say to me, mother, woman, What's for the dinner? Fish fingers and beans, she'd say. Are you having me on, are you? You've been sitting on your hole since 9 o'clock this morning. Fish fingers and fucking beans. And do I get to eat it in the dining room or in the fucking kitchen? You have every right to be fucking scared, so you have. I'm going up to my room. Send that bag up in a fucking lift. Leave her alone, kids. No more kids for you. That was the great thing about the housing estates. My one was called Troytown Heights. Yes, and it has a lot of fans. It was like every other housing estate in the country, except it had a different name. My cousins used to come over from England. They couldn't believe the size of the house. And for fuck's sake, we have to stay in a fucking matchbox, do we? All right. Hello, Tom. Yeah, we're staying in your stupid ass. Little Tommy Tiernan. You've got to pick a pocket or two. Yeah. Your cousins from England with the brand new edition of Shoot. The fuckers. With their really cool and classy accents. Where's the shop? And for the 3 or 4 days they were staying with you, you'd have an English accent as well. Going down to Mrs. Egan in the jet station. All right, so. These are my cousins from England. And I'm getting out tight out crisp from there. Oh. Give them the tight out, give them the tight out, give them the tight out. But housing estates, they were like open prisons for children, really, weren't they? As long as you didn't cross the main road to where the posh people lived. You could walk around with diplomatic immunity, walk into anywhere, whatever fucking house you wanted to, as long as the door was open, and find out what they were having for dinner. I'll never forget the day I discovered coleslaw. For fuck's sake! In with Jerry Boyle's mother. What is this? Surely not just white cabbage and mayonnaise. How did you invent such a thing? It's available in the shops. In Navan. Do you mind if I borrow this for a minute, Mrs. Boyle? Hey, you, Tiernan woman! I was sent off to a religious boarding school then, and we were fucking let down by religion in this country. In a fucking not by the idea of it. The idea of it is uplifting and all that jazz, but the fucking... I went to this boarding school, right? And there was about 350 boarders in it. 150 of them were between 11 and 13 years of age. Exiled from home. Get out of this house and fuck off to Ballin and slow it yourself. 150 of them slept in the same room. Just fucking crying, most of them, for the first 6 months, huh? And who'd greet them? Whose shadow would be fucking looming over their beds at night? There she was. Unapproachable. Porcelain. The Virgin Mary. All you could do was let the Virgin Mary down. That's all you could fucking do. Like that shy girl that the disco. You feel compelled to ask her out, but she doesn't fucking say anything, just... I tell you who was a mother to me. And more of a mother than the mother I had. Not that I don't love my own mother, I do. She was the finest looking woman in Troytown Heights. fellas used to come round, Tommy, give us a look at your mother. Teddy was more of a mother to me. A woman whose fucking arms I could have slept in. It was the rabbit from the Cadbury's caramel ad. She had a nice kind of country air about her, didn't she? She had a fine way of relaxing underneath the tree with the big fucking mattress feet in her. Why don't you slow down, Posty? And take it easy with the Cadbury's caramel. She's a fucking gorgeous creature. Our fathers let us down as well. We've a nation of men in this country unable to look after their women because our fathers don't fucking teach us how. Our fathers should teach us about sex and sexual technique. Women fucking teach each other. When a woman wants to do something for her boyfriend, she'll say to her, I'm thinking of doing that. How should I do it? And other friends, oh, well, don't do that. No, the way you do it like this. And you'd be like the cat that got the cream. Men don't share it. What the fuck are you talking about? What do I do? Sure, you just ride them. What are you on about? You just fucking ride them. There's different types of loving that your girlfriend wants. Sometimes your girlfriend wants soft loving, gentle, easy. I need a lover with a slow hand. I need somebody with an easy turn. I need somebody who will in a heated rush. I need somebody who will understand when it comes to I need a slow hand. And that can be beautiful. That can be beautiful. Sometimes that's all you have the energy to provide. There are those other nights, though, when she wants it a bit the fucking yeah. When she wants to be clatterfucked. She wants to be rode within inches of the law. And you're just the pasty-limbed fucker to do it. Woo, 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 woo. Good luck to you, Dublin, up on the stage and also thank you very much. Good night. Thank you very much. Good luck tonight.
Will you please welcome the most amazing, fantastic, brilliant Mr. Dara O'Briain. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. How are you? Thank you. Well done for coming along. Well done for paying. Glorious to be here. It's a pleasure to be back, I have to say. I'm only back in the country for a couple of days. I am now living over among the English. I fucking love that reaction. We're really going to have to get over that eventually. You know that? We had, the awkwardness, as we should call it, between England and Ireland. The height of the awkwardness was a terrible thing altogether. I could hardly mention it. And now, of course, actually, the reason we should drop the whole attitude is they're really nice to us now. They feel really embarrassed with the whole shitty jokes things and stuff like that. And at this age we've given them so many. Wayne Rooney is our last gift to the English, right? Christ almighty. And there are many English who don't realise that he's Irish, right? And you kind of go, well, A, his name is Rooney, right? And B, look at the fucking head in him, right? That's not an international soccer star. That's a minor hurler from Offaly who got lucky. Jesus, well, and the joy of it is they think he's ugly. Fuck it, he'd be a god over here if he's still here. We had Rooney, he'd be doing Mach 3 and moisturiser commercials by the end of the week. Look at him, look at the sunlight dancing off his ears. Isn't it glorious to see it? Listen to the wind as it whistles through his teeth. It says, Wayne. Was in Yorkshire. There's a train station in Yorkshire, right? And there's a train museum there, and they even have a model railway museum in Yorkshire, right? Just outside the train station, right? Where you pay, and a little, Hornby set trains go around, right? In little circles, right? And I went into the place. I had 40 minutes to kill. I gave your man £2.50 and said, I'm going to have a look at the trains. My bag is here. Do you mind if I just leave it behind the counter? And your man looks at me and goes, oh no, I don't think so. No, not with what your boys have been up to for the last 30 years. Right? Oh yeah. And to be fair, I've been living there for years. I've heard none of that except from this one guy. You go, fucking hell, right? And obviously, point A, right, I'm from Dublin, right? And point B, even at their most craven, I don't think the IRA ever said to themselves, do you know what will really break the spirit of the English, huh? If we blow up York Model Railway Station, oh, they'll pull out of Northern Ireland by the end of the week if we do that. And I explained this in relatively blunt terms to your man, right? But your man topped me, because your man goes, no, after 9/11, I have to be extra careful. Fair point, touche, my friend. Because I'm sure right now Al-Qaeda are planning some sort of midnight attack where they break into York Model Railway Station and fly tiny airplanes into all of the buildings. My favourite of all those, right, and I have told before, I was in Liverpool, right, and I'd done some stuff about, I used to do a show about my granny and the IRA and all the old IRA and all this kind of stuff, right, and I would talk about how my granny fought in the War of Independence, and there was a big military funeral for her, and anyway, that's a while ago now. But I did the story in Liverpool, right, and some bloke up to me, well-built, stocky bloke, real squaddy type, right, came up to me and said, that's very interesting. I said, oh, really? He said, yeah, it's very interesting saying about your granny being in the IRA. I said, oh, do you think that was interesting? He goes, yeah, because I got two friends who are stationed in the north, and they were killed over there. That'd be exactly my response as well at that stage. A giant thought bubble with fucking nothing inside it. Right? I'm aware of a number of things. Firstly, no amount of Irish charm is going to talk you out of that situation. Right? No amount of, isn't it an awful, awful, awful thing? It is indeed. My God, it's an awful thing. The sons of the taken away. Not going to work, right? The other thing is I could give him a pot of history, because my granny was the old IRA, like, obviously she's my granny for fuck's sakes, right? And she was never called up in living memory. I don't remember ever my granny the phone ringing and they're going, what? Oh, I'm back on, all right. So her war was over many years ago, finished even before the Civil War, right? But so I was going, well, do I give him a potted history of Ireland? Or I say, well, listen, there's a huge difference in context between the war that your friends were killed in and the one that my grandmother fought in. I mean, like, and there's others. There was, she was there in 1918, and then after that there was the War of Independence, and then there was the foundation of Fianna Fáil, a slightly constitutional political party, and then the Curragh camp interments and the drawings of going out of Irish politics, and then a period of dormancy up until the 1960s when the Civil Rights March was kicked off, like whatever, and then the British Army arrived ostensibly to protect the nationalist community, but then went hideously wrong around the time of the Rats of Derry, and then the whole fucking thing kicked off, and then your guys arrived in, right? That was plan A, right? The one thing I love about that, actually, the joy of it is, right, you're all being very polite with the round of applause because you recognise the bit that I've clearly learnt off, but really, mainly, and like, in a way that I don't get in England, you're all sitting there going, you left a lot out. Frankly, that was a very trite reading of the last century of Irish politics, sorry, you know, like, I mean, it's foundation of the Republic, the Constitution, anyway, there's lots more to it. But I said to them, I'm going, this isn't going to fucking work, right, okay, grand. I'm thinking, well, plan B is clearly duck and roll. Oh, look, a bright light, and then run away really quickly. But your man has been pincered in, like, or whatever, I'm trapped into him, like, and this is a completely true story. Your man leads in and goes, yeah, they're in an army truck in the north, right? And I'm going, really? And he goes, yeah. And a tree fell on them. And I genuinely looked at this bloke and said, are you about to tell me that the IRA planted it? And I'm not making that story up. Your man leans in and goes, yeah, have you heard that one before? Fucking petrified. I was at a religious service recently. I was at a mass between a guy from... Because there is a kind of a tendency, you know the way we all think, we're gas and the Huns are mad. And we have no real idea what they do, right? And all the Protestants are crazy. And I was actually at a mixed wedding during the year between a girl from Cork who's Catholic and a guy from Protestant. You know, that strange country with their weird habits. It's bad. I haven't visited it myself. From Edinburgh, who's Protestant, right? And it is, and I know the general instinct is I've always found, you know, of a certain generation in this country to go, oh, a mixed marriage. Oh, jeez, a mixed, oh, God, it'll never work. The kids will be freaks. They'll all have 6 fingers. They'll all be wandering around. They'll be hideous, like whatever. And I went along to the service thinking, oh, this is going to be very interesting. It'll be very different. I wonder what they do. It's fucking exactly the same. It is word for word the same fucking service between the Catholics. It's exact. And it's like, there was no stage where we're looking over the going, Jesus, do you do that? That's mad shit. That's unbelievable. God, isn't it great to see it, Mary? How Jesus went out. It's exactly the same. It's not a fucking mixed marriage at all, right? There's nothing different in it slightly. A mixed marriage is one half of the church going, Mazel Tov, and the other side firing guns in the air. That's a fucking mixed marriage, right? A mixed marriage is one side of the church with a big paper dragon that they're running up and down like that. While on the other side, there's men with spears just hopping up and down. That's a mixed relationship, right? Oh, those Kenyan Sino relationships, they're notoriously difficult to keep going after the honeymoon period. It doesn't matter how nice the flat is in Hong Kong, you can take the boy out of the Masai Mara, he's going to want to kill a lion eventually. And that's going to fuck up your feng shui, right? There were no differences at all. The hymns, there was a little difference in the hymns. Jesus, the Protestants loved the hymns. On and on and on the fucking hymns went. Verse after verse. That's not us. We do Christ and Shield, up, down, thank you very much, right? End of it, right? Jesus, they went on for ages, the fucking, and we weren't going to be showing up. The Catholic side of the church was belting it out, good, all right? We were singing just as well that we were not going to be showing up, but we hadn't trained. By the end of it, we were swaying forward and back with altitude sickness, going, Jesus, how fucking long is this thing? Am I going to hell anyway just for singing along? Right? And then we got to the finest audience participation part of all, the Lord's Prayer, right? The Lord's Prayer, great thing. Comes back to me now and drove the whole Lord's Prayer thing. Do love the whole Lord's Prayer thing. Obviously, I've forgotten large chunks of it, as you do in these kind of things. My vague memories for a long time were that involved bread and trespassing. Gets a lot of mentions in the Lord's Prayer. Even as a child, you're going, what the fuck is up with the trespassing? Was there a lot of trespassing at the time? Was it a major social evil in Galilee at the time? Were people constantly vaulting over fences and taking shortcuts through other people's property? Was Christ himself writing the prayer going, Jesus, if those fucking kids don't get out of my garden now... It's going in the fucking prayer. The trespassing is going in the fucking prayer. No more fucking trespassing, right? I won't trespass against you, and you won't fucking trespass against me. It's a bizarre thing. It's like a fucking small business document of some description, and no trespassing, right? There should be a bit at the bottom that goes, lovely to touch, lovely to hold, but if you break it, consider it sold. And then the finest moment of all, I guarantee if she's getting nervous if we wrap up with it, the finest moment of all is everyone stands up to do the prayer, right? And they're all doing it anyway. I mean, obviously, there are many, many things, but the best bit was the bit where no one in that church had been in a church for about 15 years, right? We're going to do that moment. I love that moment, right? I'm going to do that, and you're all going to go, murmur, 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 right? Very, very simple. Just do a quick rehearsal. 1, 2, 3. Perfect, right? Priest stands up in front of a congregation like me who haven't been in a church since they were 14, right? And goes, Our Father who art in heaven, and the entire room just goes. I fucking knew this once, you know that? To be fair, what the noise they actually made was more of a murmur. You fucking went for it. You did the full murmur, 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 murmur. As if there was a fucking Jim Henson Muppet monster about to walk into the middle of the service. Of this, the priest goes, dearly beloved, and from the back, a 9-foot tall murmur, 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 murmur. And the priest goes, what's that, wedding monster? You don't approve? Where is the biscuit for the wedding monster? And a page boy has to come up with a biscuit and go, there you go. Murmur, murmur, murmur. Ladies and gentlemen, joy to see you, Dara O'Briain. Thank you very much. Good night, goodbye, good luck.
kids. I've got a kid. No, I haven't got kids. I've got a kid. He's 4. He's a fucking nut, all right? I just want to talk. He just did this most bizarre thing. He says weird shit, you know what I mean? But having kids, anybody who doesn't have kids here, they haven't got a fucking clue with the damage they can do to you. When I was out in the shops, right, this is only fucking 2 weeks ago, right, I looked at my son, right, and they get words, they put it in their head, and then they fucking get sick on the floor with all the words, right? And this is what I said to him. I gave him a Kinder Egg, and I said, is that okay? And he goes, oh yes, Daddy, thank you. I'm so happy in my arsehole. I want to see everybody out in the supermarket. What the fuck you do to that child? But he's nuts, right? And we got him a rabbit. He's called Max. I got him, right, in Northside Shopping Centre, lying fucking bastards, in a place called Paddy Wax or something. Can't even remember the name of it. And I wanted a dwarf fucking rabbit, which means it doesn't grow, Paddy, you fuckhead. And when I went in to get it, they were all huddled together. And I went, is that a dwarf rabbit? He goes, oh yeah, man. Fucking telling you, that's a dwarf rabbit. Even his assistant went, oh, Paddy, they're not just born. Shut the fuck up, man. All right. Yeah, man, dwarfs, they'll never grow. They'll do you right. They'll do you right. They'll do you right, man. Take her home. Loves the kids. Loves the kids. So I brought home the rabbit, right? I'm watching the fucking little bollocks growing every day. He's going, And the cage, that Paddy fucking little bastard cage, fucking rabbits did it like this. He's looking out going, any chance of a fucking house? What's the story with the fucking miniature jail? And this is what he did. This is what my son did to a rabbit. He's 4 years old, right? And people that don't have kids, you do not give them fucking pets or animals and walk away. Now, the unfortunate thing about rabbits, I don't know why God made them like this, but if you kick a rabbit, poke it, or fuck it, it makes no noise, right? Now, to a child, that's fair game. So my son can do anything to it and go, oh, they must like it. Well, look, he likes that. He likes that. And this is what happened. True's God, this happened, right? I fucking left the fucking rabbit in his prison, right? In the sitting room, right? Went out to the kitchen to fucking not make a cup of tea, put a cup. Look, watch how long that takes, right? That takes this long to put a cup on the sink, like that. I went back in, I snuck back in, and fucking mental what I seen, right? The rabbit wasn't in his cage anymore, right? So God only knows how my son took him out, the poor fuck, right? And now, I know we're into fucking rights and fucking human and hooray and animal. If there's any animal rights people here, I don't give a fuck. What I seen was hilarious, so... I couldn't interrupt him immediately. I wanted to see what happened, right? Because fuck it, his ma's upstairs. The rabbit makes no noise. Hard luck. Should be screaming. Or maybe they should get little tap shoes, you know, when they're in trouble. Standing at the door, right? Just sneaking. Just curiosity, you know, first. I wanted to see if he does actually kill the rabbit, right? Looking in, right? And fucking brilliant, right? My son has the rabbit by the ears, right? I swear to fuck. He's driving him around the wooden floor like a car. It was fucking great. He was going, nyeh, nyeh. But the mental thing, the rabbit wasn't going, get the fuck away from me. He was just like this. Nyeh, nyeh. And then I was just about to shout and I just seen a ramp. I went, I have to leave it. No, wait a second. So my son went, nyeh. And just as he did that, I went, Devon! And he just looked up and went, oh! And he just picked up his rabbit and went, oh, I love him. Such a nice little rabbit.
Please give a huge round of applause for the very wonderful Ardal O'Hanlon!
Now, my name is Ardal, for want of a better name, and I know quite a lot. And now I'm going to share some of my extraordinary knowledge with you, so you're in for a real treat. And of course, it is great that you all turned out tonight because we really need Amnesty International in Ireland more than ever, don't we? I mean, let's face it. You know, we're not allowed to smoke anymore. I haven't done a gig in Ireland, you know, forever, where I could actually see the fucking audience. You know, it's like... And I can't believe that people support this ban wholeheartedly. You know, it's a bit excessive, isn't it? I'm not a smoker, you know, but I always enjoyed coughing, for feck's sake. Oh, and all because it's going to save 1 or 2 lives a year. You know, that's not a great return, is it? Doesn't take into account the thousands of people who are going to be run over by trucks while smoking in the middle of the road. Now, you know, I'm having trouble breathing here in this shirt, anyway, at the moment. It's hard to keep it all in when you're my age. And I'm very tired as well, you know. I saw a sign on the motorway earlier today. It said, "Tiredness can kill." I never knew that, you know. Last Saturday, I stayed up all night watching DVDs. I could have died. You know, people. So you're not allowed to smoke anymore, and you're not allowed to use your mobile phone in your car. Because it's dangerous. You know, don't you realise how busy we are? We have to communicate at all times. I mean, I was in my car quite recently. About 2 weeks ago, there was a storm. It was lashing rain. It was very slippy underfoot. Wind, leaves, and other stuff outside. And I was driving along, and this guy overtook me on a really bad bend. And he had one hand on his steering wheel, and the other hand trying to tie a note to the leg of a pigeon. Now, are you telling me that's any safer, eh? Of course not. Bird didn't want to go outside. He was flapping and pecking the man. You know, he didn't want to get wet leaves on his wings, did he? Or over his eyes. No. Of course not. I wanted to inform the authorities immediately. But I couldn't use my phone. I had to light a little fire on the passenger seat and... You know. That's right. Open the sunroof and wave the smoke around in a special way I learned from the Apaches. So there you go. You know, I told you, I knew a lot. But, God. So anyway, and apparently we've become racist in this country as well. I disagree. We've always been racist given half a chance. For years we had to practice on the travellers and, you know, people from neighbouring parishes and students. Oh, they're much paler than we are. Come on, let's go and get... And phone boxes and cattle. Yeah, yeah, yeah! I was in a taxi the other day in Dublin, and the driver, he actually blamed the immigrants for the traffic congestion on the streets of the city. And I'm kind of going quite, you know, how can it be their fault, for God's sake? And he's going, of course it's their fault. Doesn't everyone slow down to stare at them? Yeah. You know? And the question, must be asked, how can we, of all people, behave in such a fashion? You know, we who emigrated to the four corners of the world, you know, whose chief contribution to mankind is fucking freckles, for God's sake. You know? There seems to be a school of thought in this country that says, oh, we didn't mind giving money to the black babies, but we didn't think they were going to grow up and come over and thank us personally. You know, I'm at that age of my life as well where, you know, every time I open the paper, I read about a must-see film that I haven't seen. You know, there are hundreds of must-see films on at the moment, and I haven't seen any of them. And I'm very worried, what's going to happen to me if I don't see them, for God's sake? I'm going to have to go to some sort of special hospital for the ill-informed, you know? I'm in a dilemma. I don't have the time. I've must-see kids at home and a must-see wife. You know, there are must-see sausages going off in the fridge as I'm talking. I passed a shop window the other day. It was full of essential oils, and I don't have any of them. They're essential. I'm lucky to be alive. You know? So I'm understandably worried, and every time I switch on the news, I get depressed. You know, I just despair. I always know that the main newsreader is going to spoil the sports reporter's big moment at the end of the bulletin. It happens every time, and I'm waiting for it, and I'm getting anxious. As I know it's coming. He's not happy with having the plum job and telling the public all the very important stuff. It's at the end of the bulletin. So now over to you, Tony, with the sports news. And I believe Arsenal were beaten again. That was my news! For fuck's sake! I've been waiting all day to break that story. You pompous bastard! And I've tried fishing as well. Fishing is the most popular participation sport in this country. Believe it or not, that's people's idea of fun. Sitting in a damp field trying to outwit a fucking fish. The stupidest of God's creatures. The only reason it survived the flood is because, it's a fish. But, I get more satisfaction out of trying to catch a mouse than trying to catch a salmon, for God's sake. At least I know when I'm waiting for a mouse to fall into my trap, I can sit in by the fire watching telly. Without worrying about getting pneumonia or being raped by hillbillies. So, there's other ways to relax as well, of course. People say going on holidays is a great way to relax. Now, has anyone ever been on holidays? I mean, going on holidays, far from being relaxing, it's the most stressful thing you can do in your life. You're in a blind panic before you even leave the house in the first place. Thinking of all the things you have to do. Oh my God, I'm going to have to cancel the milk and put down the dog and, leaving the light on doesn't fool the burglars for a second. I'm going to have to leave a hairdryer on for the whole 2 weeks. So they'll think there's somebody inside with a massive head of hair. They'll think Brian May is looking after the house. And I'm quite scared of flying as well nowadays. And it's not terrorism in the skies that really bother me. It's fucking Ryanair, I mean, what an extraordinary airline they are. They're doing away with seats and toilets now to save money. Doing away with pilots next. They're going to be operating the planes by remote control. Soon there'll be no wings or fuel or passengers or baggage or any personnel whatsoever. Just going to develop a giant catapult that, fires people in the general direction of Europe. You've got to bring your own parachute. Yes. That'll be €1 now. Fuck off. And of course, I've never been any good at going on holidays. I mean, I've never been able to find anyone to come with me, and I hate going on my own anywhere. I don't like being on my own at all. I just curl up into a little homunculus when I'm on my own, and I've never understood these people who go backpacking around the world on their own, the world, singular. Who they spend a year on their own going around, and what an amazing experience that is. Like, oh yeah, they get to flirt with Buddhism and snorkel and wear the same underpants indefinitely. I mean, what a truly amazing experience. What's so amazing about being a dirty, lonely, scabby prick for a year? Tell me that. And when they come home, they can never adjust. Years later, they're still going on, oh, you can get a 4-course meal in India for 50 cents. It's not fair. This country sucks.
I come from Coolock, which is, just confirmation that I do come from Coolock over there. And growing up in Coolock, I think a lot of people, certainly for me, music played a big part in my life and got me through a lot of difficult times. And the one thing I do regret in my life is never actually learning how to play an instrument. So. And you sort of forget how easy it is to be sort of full of north sides. See this? This is a Coolock bloke standing still. It's great, it shakes you. You're sort of going, I don't need music, I'm fucking walking. And it's like I'm 38 now, and you sort of I had to make a definite effort. I had to make a definite effort to sort of stop being like this, because it's okay in your early 20s, your teens, you know what I mean? But once you get past 30, 35, this, you know what I mean? People start, has he got Parkinson's? You know what I mean? Now I've also been asked to join Amnesty. It's a great club. You get loads of things. You get big packets of freedom sent to you every week. You're feeling a bit repressed, you know, the doorbell rings and there's a bloke, there's a freedom for you there. Go ahead. You open it up, you go, yeah! So I'd like to thank Amnesty International for making me wear the tightest T-shirt in the world. I was just going to come on, you know, with this, like I usually do, going, of course I'm fit. And it's great that it's on television as well. Yeah, because film adds £10. I don't know if you know, which is fine if you're a porn star, but not so good if you're an overweight comedian. So that's great. It's strange what you do. I mean, I try to be a vegetarian. That's one of the. I used to be. Well, a girl I used to go out with was a vegetarian, which made me kind of a vegetarian a bit as well, because I was trying to get into her knickers. And but I was a first stage vegetarian. I'd only eat meat if it tasted really, really nice. I'd only eat parts of the cow that if you ate the part of the cow might still survive, right? I just don't think it's right that animals should be killed just because our desire for meat is there. I just don't think it's just. Has anyone not heard of flesh wounds? Do you know how long it takes an 8-ounce sirloin to grow back on the arse of a cow? In all honesty, you could keep a cow alive. You vary the cuts on the cow. You could keep a cow in your back garden and you could have meat every day for the rest of your life and that cow would still survive. It wouldn't have to die. It's not going to be your friend. Yeah. And I like a leg of lamb. You know what I mean? I like legs of lamb. A bit of Sunday dinner. I love a leg of lamb. I'm talking about wheelchairs for sheep. Right, don't kill it. Don't kill, just, you know, cut two, don't go forward, don't go 3 legs in the wheelchair, people can go around in a circle, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I don't agree with fishing, I don't like fishing, I don't think just putting a hook into a fish's mouth is just wrong. And it must be very strange from the other fish in the pond to see a fish getting caught, because if you take the fisherman out of the equation, it just looks really weird, you know what I mean? It's just, we were just swimming along, me and Frank, you know, going along, everything's just, you know, having a bit of a chat, having a bit of a fin wag, just swimming along and shooting the stream, you know what I mean? Just swimming along, and next thing, Frank gets this weird look in his eye and fucks off out of the water. Just threw himself out of the water, didn't go back, he just fucked off with it. I mean, I knew he was having some problems at home, but suicide. Here's a bit of a tip. If you're in a city on your own, in fact, do it in Dublin. Move cops on. They cannot do a thing. If you see some little teenage, 18-year-old bloke just up from Templemore, just standing around on his own on Grafton Street going, I'm looking after this city. Everything's fine, I'm okay. Just walk up to him, and just go, move along there. They can do nothing. They can't arrest you because you're only asking them to move along. He can do one of two things, right? He can ignore you. And I don't know if you've ever seen a cop trying to ignore someone before. It's the most pathetic thing I've ever seen in my life. He sort of like this petulant child going, you're not the boss of me. He can ignore you, or he can move on. You know those mirrors in police interrogation cells? There's no reason for that mirror to be there. Do you know what I mean? You know, a cop doesn't need it. And I know you're supposed to believe it's an intimidating thing. You know, I know it's supposed to be a two-way mirror. You know what I mean? It's supposed to intimidate the prisoner. And it's not a two-way mirror anyway, because a two-way mirror would be a window, as far as I'm concerned. And it'd be much more intimidating if it was a window and you could see the cops looking at you going, you're There's no excuse that a policeman can come up to me and go, oh no, this mirror is supposed to be here because we use this room as the police ballet room. Please give a huge round of applause. Start going now for the very wonderful Des Bishop!
So I did this college tour last week, right? And I can't believe it, man. I'm the next generation. Like, these kids, they don't have fucking anything in common with me, man. You know, I came to Ireland August 26, 1990, 6 weeks after you defeated Romania in the World Cup, about 8 weeks before you finished celebrating. I'm out there with these kids, and I say, I own 2 copies of Soundings. And none of them fucking like, they don't even know what fucking Soundings is, man. 800 years of fucking Soundings, and now nobody uses them. I couldn't believe it. These kids, they're a fucking new generation. They don't know the things that fucking people have been through in the late 80s, the fucking unemployment and the butter vouchers. They don't fucking know. They only know prosperity and employment. They don't even know knacker drinking. No, honestly. Honestly, they're going out to fields now with bottles of fucking wine. No, honestly, value for money, this is a brilliant wine. I mean, pound for pound, this is fucking beat anything. Going to fucking fields with a bottle of wine and easy singles. Honestly, the marigolds have just come up lovely this year. I moved to Cork in 1994, and they were only... I don't know whether you're cheering 1994 or Cork there. Oh, 94, great fucking year. So I got this flat in the Glen for £9 a week, man. And part of the deal, the guy that actually was paying, was supposed to be paying the rent in the flat, got a flat with his girlfriend. So I took this flat for £9 a week. And part of the deal was that I got to use his butter vouchers. And every day that I used these fucking butter vouchers, I remember thinking, what a stupid poverty alleviation scheme. What fucking genius in the government came up with this fucking stupid system. You know, some guy was up there, right. The poor people have no food and no money. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to give them loads of fucking butter. But sir, they've no bread. Well, they can lick the knife. I just never got it, man. Fucking butter vouchers, you know? To be honest, man, everybody was on the dole in the late 80s. I think the government were being a bit sinister there, you know? The government going, right, fucking poor people are on the fucking dole. I'll tell you what we're going to do, lads. We're going to give them loads of fucking butter. Their arteries will be clogged by 35. They'll die, and we have to give them no more fucking dole. Dead handy. Now, I know there's a lot of people here, you know, dart riding types or whatever, that haven't a fucking notion of what I'm fucking talking about. No, seriously, what the fuck are butter vouchers? No, honestly, what the fuck are butter vouchers? Can you get Lolo with him? Can you get Flora? Can you get Flora with a butter voucher? Because I can only use sunflower-based spreads. Although a lot of you won't like to accept it, to me, I'm quite Irish now, in that I know to you I'm this Yank, but to Americans, I'm not fucking American. I just want you to know that, you know. Americans don't do this. When I came to Wexford first, everybody said hello to everybody, you know, just in case you were related or whatever. Which I thought was amazing. You know, so I picked up the habit, I'd go back to the States, I'd see people I don't know, and I'd be like, Americans be like, what the fuck is wrong with that guy? He's epileptic or something, I don't know. I don't know why I'm putting on an American accent, I fucking have one, but whatever. It was an unnecessary accent to put on. Yeah, so I just had to stop getting the Irish ladies to kind of, be on like my wavelength or whatever. Because even though I've lived in Ireland for a long time, I used to go home for the summers, and Americans have different habits, Americans like phone sex, and I just have to give up with the fucking Irish women and the phone sex. It just doesn't happen. I've tried and I've tried, man. All my girlfriends, they call me, I'm like, hey, baby. What are you wearing? Girls, she's asking me what I'm wearing. Who are you there with? All the girls are here. It's great crack. We've had 50 cups of tea. Went to your room for a minute. Can you call me back? I have no cramps. Very like this today. I don't know what that's about. It's like fucking talking to my mother or something. It's like, whatever, bro. So, what are you wearing? I'm not fucking telling you what I'm wearing. This is stupid. Come on, what are you... A jumper, I'm fucking freezing. Well, put the heating on. The heating doesn't go on until 6 o'clock. You know that. It's on a timer. You think we're made of money? Okay, so ask me what I'm wearing. No, it's fucking stupid. Come on, ask me what I'm wearing. Fine, what are you wearing? I'm not wearing anything, baby. I'll put a jumper on. Your flat is worse than this one. It's all damp. You're gonna get pneumonia. Oh, it's so hot. So I had to give up. This thing I've learned, Irish women won't have phone sex, and also I've learned that Irish women are always freezing. It's a fact. I don't know what it is genetically, but the minute I walk through the door of the flat with a lady, she'd be, she's freezing. God, I'm very cold. Jesus, I'm freezing. Are you all right? I don't know, I have bad circulation. And that gets a laugh because every woman has used that stupid excuse and every man has fucking heard it. I don't know, I have bad circulation. Maybe it's because I stood in front of the fire the whole first half of my life and all the blood got stuck in my calves. That's why there's big red splotches there. In fact, if I was commissioned to do a sculpture, if I was commissioned to do a sculpture of Irish female sexuality, right, it would look like this. And if I was commissioned to make an action sculpture of Irish female sexuality turned on, action sculpture, it would look like this. Irish women are always freezing. And another thing I've learned about Irish women is they're the only race of people on the planet who can come into your bedroom, get completely naked in front of you, and by some genetic skill that they've all learned or been passed on through the Celtic generations, you will never see a single part of their body. I don't know how they do that. I don't know how they do it. They just come into the room and they just do this little Celtic shameful shimmy. And just when you think you're gonna see it, straight away under the duvet. Shunk. Jesus, I'm freezing. Yeah. Very cold. Have we not got a hot water bottle? Stop bringing up hot water bottles in the throes of passion. All right? They're not fucking sexy. You can't imagine Barry White in the middle of one of his big, sexy hits. Yeah, baby. I'm gonna take you into the room. I'm gonna sit you down on the chair. I'm gonna go into the kitchen. I'm gonna turn on the kettle. I'm gonna reach up over the cupboard and get that little pink sack of love. Put the ribs on it for no reason. I'm gonna fill it up with boiling hot water, baby. So hot, I gotta carry it back to the room by the tip. No, don't get up yet, baby. And then slowly, over half an hour, I'm gonna move it around the bed. 5 minutes a section. Come on in, baby. It's hot. No, I'm still cold. Have you not got a super, sir? Yeah. I'm gonna go to the utility closet. I'm gonna pull out that 1972 uncomfortable hunk of metallic engineering that the college students didn't know what the fuck I was talking about either. I'm gonna move it into the room, through the wood on the floor, to the door that definitely wasn't put there for super sir transportation. Yeah. I'm gonna put that shit on 3 bars, baby. But we ain't never gonna make love because we're gonna pass out from the fume. But we're gonna be happy. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I've been Des Bishop. It's been a great pleasure to perform.
Ladies and gentlemen, will you please welcome a very talented man, Dylan Moran.
Shut up. Yes. Right. Hello, yeah. Now, so you're all at the Amnesty gig. That's one of the kind of hip charities to go to, isn't it? It is. You say, what did you do last night? I was at the Amnesty gig, you know. It's Amnesty. It's not really something you can go wrong with, is it? It's not like, you know, I went to rheumatism gig, you know. There's this thing for shingles, yeah, it's very big. There's a bit of cachet with Amnesty. It's a little like cancer, you know, you don't really want to be seen dead at a cancer gig. But it's very important now in Dublin, now that you've all got some money, or you know somebody who does. It's all about being, you know, hip and getting some stuff. You need stuff in your life. You need to fill it up with stuff. Very, very important. And other people will have nicer stuff. You need to go around their house and say, yeah, your stuff, yeah. I like your stuff. So I got my stuff, though, from a boutique that hasn't opened. And I'm very hip, you know. A lot of people don't know this about me. I've been hip for a long time. A lot of people don't know anything about me. I never talked about myself on stage, actually. And I've kind of run out of material, so now I have to. So, I was brought up by my father, by himself, in the 70s, which was very unusual, actually, because my mother died young and everything, and I had 5 or 6 brothers, and, you know, that was... I don't know why that's funny, but I did, and it was very unusual for a man to be bringing up a family by himself at that time in Ireland, you know, the time would come when we'd all have to go to... he was working and everything, so he would send us off to boarding school. And he was very aware as well that, and a bit guilty, I think, that there wasn't
I don't know why he was guilty when my mother died, but he felt bad about the fact that there wasn't a feminine presence in our lives because we were all guys. And so he made a real point of making sure that we got to the openings of the Paris and Milan fashion shows every year through our teenage years. Flied a lot of us over, you know, and it was a bonding time for all of us as brothers, and it had an effect on everybody in the end, you know. It certainly got to Veronica, and the place, the boarding school, was a kind of a cadet style school, you know, a sort of a fast track to the Irish intelligence service, and so I wasn't that surprised really in my second year at college to get the knock, you know, from Prada, who had heard about us at being around the catwalk and so on. And, you know, a lot of stuff goes on in industrial espionage. People aren't really that aware of what actually happens. And I can't say a lot now. I'm writing a book about it. But I mean, for instance, some of it is quite dirty, you know. There was this, you may remember, an international fashion designer got shot by a so-called madman a few years ago. And all I can say is that Versace had just run a very, very successful underwear campaign. You know, a lot of oiled, tanned youths with their mouths slightly up, hanging around potted fronds and lounging on tiger skin rugs, and, you know, a lot of pants got sold. Somebody had to go down. I don't remember. I can't say a lot else, but the part of being hip as well, you know, about going to things like Amnesty and so on and making sure that you've got the right kind of tiger skin plants in your house is where you are politically. Now, obviously, Amnesty crowds attract a lot of pro-Bush people, you know, and I find a lot of them, I mean, lovely, lovely people. And also there's the other crowd, there's the, you know, liberal people who walk unaided. And the thing about the people who are anti-Bush is that they're incredibly boring because they're always trying to tell you something about Bush that will make you dislike him more, as if that was possible. You know, because yeah, but did you know that he never left the country before he was president? And you think, well, yes, I did. Yeah, but did you know that when he was governor of Texas, a lot of people died in the electric chair? Yeah, I did. Yeah, but and then they get annoyed and they start making shit up. Do you know how many? Do you know how many? No, I don't. I don't know the exact figure. 91 million people. Do you know how many of those were young black single mothers? No, I don't. 98 million. 98. All of it. He pushed the button himself. There was about 5 minutes during the American elections when everybody was watching it, and it looked like Kerry could win, and everybody sort of went, yeah, fucking Jesus. But his problem was that nobody knew who he was. He didn't even know who he was. He's not even there anymore anyway. He's just a quiff and a chin in a drawer somewhere. But he could have been anybody. It could have been Big Bird or a packet of frozen peas. It didn't matter. I'm not that interested in world events or people or the world or me. I have a very narrow range of things. I suppose, really, I mean, I think, you know, other people, everything is political, really. You talking to another person is political. You find this in love. Love is kind of like terrorism. You know, it's a very aggressive thing when you're with somebody for the first time. Or in the early stages when you fall in love with somebody, you sort of terrorize one another. You know, you say, I love you so much. I want to rip your spine out so I can move in. And it's amazing to watch that change. You know, everybody has seen the middle-aged couple in the restaurant. You see these people, and everybody lives in fear of becoming them. You think, look at these people. They got dressed up. They come out in their nice clothes. They think they're nice. The peach jacket and everything. They came out to sit opposite one another for 2.5 hours and not talk. Unless you're missing something, unless they are communicating in this highly codified way with just the clink of cutlery on ceramic. You know, it's all passing you by. And he makes those awful noises, you know, chomping on his steak. It sounds like some sort of Balkan curse. And she's been living with this man for 30 years and she's disgusted. She makes her own little noise as she spears a sliver of radish and turns away. It sounds like a dove having a dump. And their eyes might meet, but only by accident. And within that look is contained the data of 30 years of being with the same person. You're wondering, who the fuck are you? Because these people come from a different generation. They don't talk about relationships the way people do now. What the fuck is a relationship anyway? People say, oh, you know, there's a problem in our relationship. We have a thing. There's a thing going on in our relationship. What's a relationship? It's this mythical third party that people bring around with them. They blame it on the relationship. Well, what's the problem in the relationship? I hate the bitch. You know, that could be your fault. It's like this four-legged pair of pajamas that follows them around. There's no such thing as a relationship. There's you, and there's them, and there's the room. That's it. And you've got to deal with that. And you love somebody, or you don't. Or they love you, or they don't. And the fact is, terrible things are true, you know? People never say this. People love your absence more than they ever loved you. They do, because they only remember the good stuff. Those 45 seconds when you weren't breathing through your mouth and being pro-Israel. That's all they remember. You see, your ego functions at its best when you're alone. Now, actually, not when you're alone. That's when it doesn't function at all. But when you're alone with somebody else, and they try to invade your aloneness by talking to you, if by arguing with you, somebody you live with, somebody who's lucky enough to live with you, if they give you any jip, that's when your ego comes into its own. They might moan about something you got sick in their hair. Whatever it is, some trifling faux pas. And they start giving you all the... And you argue, you know, and you try and be rational, and you say, yes, I see what you mean. I see where you're coming from. I see your point. Yes, I really do. But you don't think that. Not really. Inside, you're thinking, shut up! You wretch! I rescued you from the city's streets. Without me, you'd still be fucking bouncing into buildings out there in the laser neon rain with the tabloids poltergeisting through the air, wondering where the fuck you are, you clueless dolt. I took you in for the waif you were, rescued you from every doorway which was a waiting set of jaws, every half-closed window a pirate's eye. I took you in and rescued you from your own stupidity. If you had a shred of moral decency, you would chain yourself to the radiator and devote the rest of your life to acts of sexual abasement. But you don't say that. You say, yes, I see what you mean. I see where you're coming from. Intimacy is very difficult. We're told that men have problems with intimacy. I don't know. I know that I have to have a tremendous amount of sex with somebody before I buy them a drink, but, you know. Love is very difficult. It's a very misused phrase. I love you, I love you, I love you. I get so tired of that all day. You think, where is the evidence? These are just words that belong to every poltroon in a polyester suit in those fucking chain bars in town. Bake me a cake or die on my doorstep from the lurgy. It's a big mistake to say to anybody, did you miss me? You know what? If somebody missed you, they'll tell you. If you ask them, you remind them that they didn't miss you. And there you are, swinging off their lapels, looking up at them with your huge moon eyes. Isn't it ridiculous what persists in the most crucial relationships of your lives, the things you can't talk about, even now? For instance, I apologize for even bringing this up, but it is 2000 and something, whatever it is. And it is still very difficult to have a rational conversation about periods to a woman when it could be relevant. You see, I'm almost instinctively euphemistic about it. I don't want to get into trouble even here. I only realised recently I've been having the same polite conversation all my life. We used to say to somebody, You don't want to go to the restaurant that we said we'd... You don't want... No, certainly, no. Me neither. And you don't want to go to the other place I'm about to suggest. Me neither. Or any of the other places I can think of. I hate them all as well. But listen, the thing is, when we do find somewhere, and I'm sure we will, because you're starving, I know that, you've said it several times, when we get there, I'm actually not that worried about food myself. The main thing for me is, when we get in there, could you run over some of my flaws? Because, you know, I just can't keep track. I don't know what it is. If you weren't here, really, I'd be fucked. I really would. I don't do that shit anymore. I just said, listen, you having your period? Because you know what? It's humiliating to argue with a hormone. And I know you're crying and everything. But you know what? I quite fancy a cry too. I really do. You've kind of stolen the show and the waiter's coming over now, but I really would like to cry as well. By the way, crying isn't proof of a greater capacity to feel, it's proof of a greater capacity to cry. And I'm not paying for this. Fuck you. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all for me. Thank you very much. Good night.
Helps them stay sane. The plumbers hate slaughter. It fucks up your drains. And hard hats must be worn at all times on this side. It don't make no difference when you're lost in delight. The men here make lost their career. They don't talk to volunteers. Talk to volunteers.